That's really helpful. All right. Hi there, and today we're going to talk about 7 Everton Street. Reasonably interesting property for kind of the wrong reasons, and I'll explain. I'm not in my usual office, and I don't have my usual computer, so everything is just running. Sorry about the phone going all over the place. Everything. So I've got my video on my mobile so that I don't stress my laptop too much because it's rather old and slow. Whereas my desktop machine is quick and easy. But anyway, right, let's get into screen share and then we can talk about what we see. Okay, and I'm going to go through the videos in a minute, but I'll start with the property details. And
sorry for disturbing you. Can you see your share screen on your phone? Because I can see the photos. Yes, right now.
So you see it? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing I would say about this house is that for some reason in the 1970s, I think, they decided to put this window in and brick up the original window, which makes it look ugly and out of keeping with properties, all the other properties on the road. Now, that's not a bad thing in itself, but there are a few things worth looking at here. Now, this street view is very recent from last year, so I assume that the roof hasn't been sorted out. But if you look carefully, you can see lots of little white marks on the roof, and they are strips of aluminium holding in slates. And interestingly, you can see the house next door has some as well. In fact, a lot of these houses have it. So maybe these are original roofs and they're just very old and a bit kind of not dilapidated, but certainly this house has more tingles, which is what they're called, aluminium strips holding in slates, than the other ones do. I think it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, possibly 22, I'm not sure. Slates being held on the front, and I assume there are loads of slates being held on the back, just pointing that out. Now, this property, as I say, I think it was renovated in the 1970s, and it's consistent with the coving. Now, I've had a look through the Viewer videos, which we'll look at in a minute, and they're quite revealing, certainly with the ceiling quality and so on. So essentially, a lot of things are done not very well, and it's kind of like they've avoided doing the really nasty stuff on this property. And you can see here with this light, I'll just see if I can put it in a new tab and you can get a bit closer look. One of the good things about having this kind of ceiling lighting is you can see how things look. And the ceiling's a bit of a mess. The other issue that you've got is the staircase, which would not pass building regulations today. And it kind of worries me a little bit. So the reason I say that is because the problem with staircases like this is they are dangerous if you have babies. So if you have a family renting the property and you've got a baby and the baby falls down the stairs and smacks itself or sticks its head through the staircase, or falls through the staircase, then you've got a dead baby, which is rather gruesome, I know, but I'm just pointing this out. And generally speaking, these are not good. So if you were to renovate the house extensively, redo the staircase, you would have to not have this configuration. But this was very acceptable in the 1970s, just not acceptable today. And in the kitchen, they seem to have gone for this ceiling finish, which I suppose is okay. It looks pretty modern. mainly because I assume the plaster work underneath is a mess, and therefore it's the easiest way to get their downlighting in, avoid having to deal with what's lurking underneath, and make it look reasonably good, which makes sense. And upstairs, kind of some funny issues going on here in this corner. Again, ceiling's not in good condition. So overall, there are also questions about the actual quality of the build, i.e., if a building has a render over it, that's usually an issue. But looking at the quality of the brickwork here, which was a house obviously built at the same time as this one, it looks okay. So it looks like it's a cavity wall and looks okay. The property here has had damp proofing done, so it's susceptible to damp. We assume this has had it, but I can't be sure because it's under a coat of render or like surface texture. The other issue with these rendered properties is that they are impervious to water, which in some senses is good. But a lot of these houses have slightly porous bricks and it allows them to breathe, but I don't think it's a major issue. I'm just pointing it out. Now, let's have a look at the pictures and the videos and so on. And we don't have a picture of the roof, but we do from street view. We know the roof needs a lot of work on it. This is quite interesting. The bricks aren't very evenly laid out here. Now, I don't know if that's a problem or not. I think the other ones are a bit inconsistent, but this one's very misplaced. I just wonder if maybe it had been bombed in the war. The reason I say that is because this has had a lot of modernization. I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to speculate because I don't know, and the evidence isn't clear. Okay, let's have a watch of this video, and I'll make it full screen so we can see it better. We don't have image stabilization, but we do have big file sizes, which helps. And as I go, right, so here we are here, just there's a real kind of mishmash of decoration in this house. And one of the problems with this property is that the area that it's in, i.e. a very good area, demands that the property is done nicely. In other words, it's important it's not the worst property on the best street, if that makes sense. And the reason is just because if it's tatty, people have slightly higher expectations of properties like this. Excuse me. Right. Basically, I don't love this property. And here, I'm going to show you something else that's interesting. This is very 1970s, which I explained earlier. But so what I don't know based on this is whether this is plaster and lath or plasterboard. The reason that's important is because if you have plaster and lath, you never have a perfectly flat surface. It's always a bit undulating and it's more prone to collapse. So if you have like a water leak or something like that, the whole ceiling could come down. I can't quite work out whether it's plasterboard or plaster and lath. I'm erring towards plaster and lath, which was left in when the property was done up in the 70s. Other reasons I know it's the 70s, see the flat door there. It's like in its day, it was the cheap door. These days they use these plastic doors with pressed corrugated cardboard inside. For in here, that's a decent floor. I can't work, okay. This is quite interesting. Right. This ceiling has lining paper on it, and if you took the lining paper off, the ceiling would probably collapse or near collapse. So in other words, you could probably not get this off with big chunks of the ceiling coming down. And this cornicing is done badly. So it's okay, but the real question is it like a cheap little property in a nowhere place that you can buy for £110,000 and rent out for £550 that you wouldn't touch because it's just not economically viable? Or is it a property in a really strong area which kind of demands to be renovated nicely? We'll find out shortly. Anyway, it's interesting. They've opened up this kitchen. And also, they've got a nice floor in this room. So that flooring looks like it's good laminate or some kind of engineered flooring, but it's nice. That staircase is a problem. That's a way too big gap. And also behind the stairs, I don't know if you can see that. I'll just go back again. The stairs has open risers, so more danger. And it doesn't even have carpets, so it's got slip hazard. And if you fall in it, you're going to have problems. So you would probably, at very least, need to recarpet that and do some carpentry on it just to seal it up so that so that it meets building regs.
Yeah, and you need to put some to not like. It need to be at least 125 millimeters between the staircase. You need to put like a wood.
Here's interesting. So what they're not using is tiling. They're using some sort of plastic sheeting, not plastic, but some sort of fiberboard or hard surface membrane. Excuse me. Right, okay. So same story here. They've covered everything up, fine, but what you got is a lot of lurking nastiness underneath. So if you rip that off, it'll be just rough as. But it looks okay. And I think the story with this property so far is it looks okay on the surface, but if you scratch at all deeply, you will have problems. And to get this into a good, a nice condition where ceilings are straight, walls are straight, and all of that would probably involve a lot of work. But nice, nice wooden flooring in here, and the carpets look reasonably good as well. Now, what are we doing next? We're going to go up. And up the stairs we go. Okay, going up the stairs. Now you can see on this wall here, if you look, it's very undulating. So this has never been replastered, I suspect. It's probably the original plaster from whenever it was built. They used a very different type of plaster back then. Funnily enough, I was in a house yesterday because I'm down in Devon on holiday working. But anyway, okay, so lots of textured ceiling. One of the issues with a nice property like this at the kind of higher end of the range is that when you have really inconsistent decor like this, it's incoherent, let's say, and people who've got the money that can choose would not necessarily choose this house just because it's a bit rough. Grouting needs doing, just needs cleaning. Bath panel needs replacing. It's got a power shower. That's fine.
You need to change
a lot of painting and decorating. Yeah, and you see you've got these brown panel doors at the top, which is fine, but it's just inconsistent.
But this property need to modernize.
It does. It needs an extensive modernization. Okay, let's have a look at this. And here we go. So there's more ceilings kind of peeling off here. That's why they got the chipboard stuff just to hold everything in. And I know I'm kind of downing on this property a little bit, despite the fact it's in an awesome place. But the catch with a property like this is it's kind of like a time bomb of building maintenance hassle. you can patch it together and keep it together for a long time, like 20 more years or whatever. But at some point, you'd have to either sell it or do the deep renovation that it deserves, assuming it's a really good location, which Martin tells me it is in. And again, the render on the back, that's okay. It kind of hides a lot of sins. Yeah, it's okay.
And
that
building
staircase.
Yeah. Yeah, and behind is a church.
Okay. Well, at least you can go to service easily if you so minded. And there's the old chimney breast. There's some peeling wallpaper. That's not a problem. Got to put it back, but it's what's underneath. I just think this is a rough property, to use a word.
I think the same. And do you have the photos? Did you download?
Yeah.
Because I have them.
Okay, was this the one that had lots of pictures or just a couple?
A couple, like, no, you don't have
I've
them.
got 2 pictures here.
No, it have more. I can open them. I can share my screen.
Could you?
Yeah, just let me know when. I can.
Yep.
So here is the property. Public Bay Lounge Fire. So here it is. As you said, it will have this kind of issues. Selling paper in a master bedroom. Small array of locking in master bedroom. Look.
Yeah, it's not. That's not the problem. It's the undulating surface. It's the fact it's all plaster and lath, and there's some
need to be fixed. So basically,
that would have been fixed because they put the render on the front to stop any issues coming.
No, this okay. Just need to be painting and decorating. It's okay.
All right. So overall, if you were to talk about renovation for this property, if you want to patch, yeah, well, yeah, for painting and decorating, and just to make it pretty, like
staircase,
consistent.
And this need to be clear.
Yeah, that roof. So the other issue is the roof, of course, which is a bit of a mess. It's in a worse mess than the property next door. What is going on with that render outside? Can you just down? See at the bottom half. What have they done? It's got some weird textured render on it. Yeah, it's just okay, whatever. That out, yeah, no.
Why is like this?
And that would be the soil.
The kitchen, yeah.
So it's okay.
But look, this need to be redone.
Yeah. Can you just zoom in on the roof? Okay, well, the rear roof
not bad here.
Okay. Actually, can you zoom right in even more? Just like zoom.
No, that's all.
I think if I look at that carefully, yeah, that's what I need to see. Oh, it's got loads of tingles on the back.
Yeah.
Look, so I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. It's less easy to see them because they're darker. But there's a whole load of these, probably like 10 on the back.
Yeah.
And there's loads of chipped slates as well. And I can see a couple of slates that have moved. Yeah, okay, so just on condition, if you want to quit screen share, we'll just talk about condition. Oh yeah, thanks.
Okay, that's all.
It's rough. And if you wanted to just tidy it up, you could put £5,000 in, repaint and decorate, and maybe change a couple of carpets, add some carpet to the staircase, sort out the staircase perhaps, and that would basically patch it up. But there's like, just, let's say, they say it's about £8,000 to redo a roof. Now, the issue isn't redoing the roof. The issue is getting the contractors to redo the roof. In other words, we're finding it's very difficult to get builders, and it's for anyone's sanity, it's best to avoid big projects like this. But anyway, that aside, so at some point that roof has to be redone. And in fact, if you look on a property down the road, I think it was 3 or 4 houses down, they had done it, but everyone else seems to have held off. But this is the one with the worst roof along that road, if you use the front roof as a point of reference against the other houses. So, okay, you got the roof, you got lots of weird render and odd things going on. That would have to come off if you were to make it nice. You could easily sink £20,000 into this. And I haven't even talked about the plaster and lath issue, because most of those ceilings are probably original and probably need to come out. But the catch with that is that once you start pulling down plaster and lath, it's so dirty that, you know, it's a mess. So obviously the property would have to be emptied. You have to seal the whole thing up so the dirt wouldn't get into the carpets and so on, if you were to keep the carpets. You can kind of see why this goes from to oh dear. But anyway, we haven't finished the story yet, because we've got to look at the location, capital growth, and so on. Since Martin's computer is more powerful than mine, he's doing the driving.
Yeah, I will share my screen now, and I will talk about the location. As you said, this the location is really central Swinton. Everything is close by: schools, universities, shops, green space. Like, the location is like prime. Like this for this property, because everything is also really close to the center of Manchester. So, and also you're not far away from the train stop. Even by walking, 10 minutes or less. So basically, it's on the quiet road, but really central Swinton. So when Nick was talking, like, you can see that this roof is changed. This roof is changed not really long time ago, because
if you look on the left side, if you go to the left, you'll see the 2 roofs at the edge of the image. They've been changed. So
yeah, but this is changed because I can see that they have a window here. This next door have a window also on the loft. So basically, they changed the roof. Maybe 10 years ago, not now. That's why it's not there. So I think this property at some point needs to be changed, the roof. That's my.
Well, it does if you just use those.
Honestly, when I see the paint outside the house white, so basically they hide all the issues that it can have. But I can see the bricks for ventilation, so which is always nice to see.
Yeah, it's just this house has been really kind of patched together over the years, and if I had a choice to not buy this house, I would, because it's just not a very good house, and with a badly put together house, it's just
about the crime, it's really low. The demographics are really nice. Here it's more crime, but that's normal because it's a lot of commercials and schools. But basically, it's really, really nice. And when you zoom out at the Capital Grove, my internet connection is slow because I make stop on downloading, but so here it is.
Okay, it should come up in a moment.
Yeah,
I think you can zoom in a little.
Yeah, here it is. The Capital. I will just zoom.
Yeah, if you just click on the thing, then I can tell the story, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't drop a lot, so that's nice.
It's okay. So that's quite interesting, in fact, because it was a huge winner in the last property cycle, the end of the last property cycle, and didn't decline that much. And now it's kind of surging again. And
you can see the capital growth in the last 2 years.
It's just a strong area.
And this is the same.
Yeah, the whole area is very strong.
Yeah, like the area is very, but the house is not the right one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit risky. But if you want to go with that, the surveyor will pick all the issues. But I will not be surprised if they have roof issue, as you said, because also the EPC said that it doesn't have roof installation, so that means the roof is never changed.
Well, yeah, or there must be some insulation in there, I suppose. But all right, let's do comparables and then.
The rent will be 850 at least. 875.
What
But you
kind
need to spend
of- yeah.
10K at least.
Right. So if it was done up nicely, what kind of price would you be looking at?
This is like, you see, it's fresh, modernized.
Mm.
It's 875 they're asking for the rent. And it will rent because the location is prime, so I don't doubt.
This is a good example of a property that's been done reasonably well, where everything is just like tidy and everything matches, and you don't have this patchwork of different colors and different.
And if you go for property similar, it's listed 170, but look, this, for example, 170, but it's much better condition. Not really the better much, but the house looked more like.
Yeah, it's tidier.
Yeah, and this also like 170 the asking price. The bricks needs repointing for this property, but inside, look how better it look like. Especially, I'm checking the corners of them. So
yeah, those little things like the undulations in the ceilings,
and I think 170 what they're asking is my maximum offer will be. I will not pay more than that. That's my suggestion, because similar conditions are selling 150, 160. That's the issue, because it looks nice, but basically it's not the best property. It's the best area, but the property condition are.
All right, should we do scores?
Yeah, can you do?
Yep. Okay, I'm going.
And I want to forget to add, like if you spend like only 500 to renovate, you will rent it for 5,000. So or 6,000, you will rent it for 850. That will be the maximum what you can rent. And if you take it for 175, I'm saying that will give you 5.8 yield. But if you want to rent it more, and if you want to fix the property, at least you need to spend 20K on it. And 20K, and plus the asking price, then the yield will be low. And it's 2-bedroom detached. Sorry, to the terrace house, so I'm not sure.
It's just a lot of risk. Okay, anyway, let's get into it. So condition, I think I'm going to give it a 2.7.
Yeah, because it looks nice, but basically the construction of the house is not good.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
Location?
I never give this location 4.7.
Ooh. And area?
It's nice, 4.2.
Crime's good. Yeah. Demographics, good. Capital growth, very good.
Very good.
Sell time, well, it'll sell quickly, I suppose.
Price, it's no, it's not 4.4, 3.5. I think they're asking a lot because it looks nice, but basically there is a lot of hiding issues, because you can see on the photos like each edge of the house and each corner of the house or between it has some like issues with conditions. So.
And okay, what about the?
It's nice. It's 4. The yield is nice, but if you want to put a lot of money to renovate, then the yield will not be good. So let's give 3.5 for the yield, because the yield is not the best, but the capital growth is good. So
yeah, there it is. It's fine. It's just not fine, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wanted to add you there is no flood risk or mining risk around. I didn't show, but I checked. I can prove you later. So yeah,
very good.
And for comparables around, like in really nice condition, they're selling for 180, 190, 170 even. So I think the asking price 170 is the maximum what I will sell, just because the property outside, I mean the construction of the property is old and it's not the best one. I think the location is really prime, but the construction of the house is not one of the best. Yes. I think they are optimistic with the price. Like
You know,
Yeah.
people do crazy things, and the location